Hi guys, we are back with Vaden Carthel. He's going to tell us a little bit about what he's doing to the bed we saw last time. So this is our updated version of what's going on over here.
Thanks, Jordy. So yes, here we are. It's the end of March. It's starting to warm up. It's getting beautiful outside, which means it's time to start planting. So here we have a Hicks Yew, which is one of the shrubs that we're going to be planting here in front of this beautiful house in Wolfland and Amarillo. Now, before we do that, one of the things we're going to be doing is addressing the actual sustainability of the life of this, because as y'all saw before in the previous video, we had plants that died last year. We definitely don't want that to happen again. So as we're planting these, we're going to be introducing a couple of products that's going to help ensure that these plants have the life that they need, have the nutrition that they need, and are able to sustain Amarillo's climate as we progress through the year. So we're going to go ahead and go over a few of those, and then what we'll do is we'll show some footage of how we're planting them and how we're bringing these products into the planting process. And then at the end of this, we're also going to be addressing and rebuilding the irrigation to make sure that these are getting enough water. So the first product we're going to be doing, which is Root Stimulator. Whenever you're planting shrubs especially, Root Stimulator is super important, thus the name. It stimulates the root system. So whenever you're planting not an annual flower or an annual plant, but you're doing actual perennial shrubs, the root systems can be slow to grow. And Root Stimulator, like I said, the name implies, it helps the bacteria, the mycorrhiza, in the soil, and they're typically a phosphorus-based fertilizer that's in there, which helps the root system develop as well. That's going to be crucial, especially for water retention in these plants. The first year that you're planting shrubs, the water retention can be difficult. Even if you're relying on irrigation, you may have to go out there and hit it with a hose a few times. Root Stimulator can help mitigate that a little bit, and we're trying to establish it as much as possible also before winter. As you know, in Amarillo, we can get some harsh freezes. If root systems are not established in shrubs before winter time, and those root balls freezes, that can actually cause damage, and you'll see that as you come out of winter in the springtime. So Root Stimulator is crucial, especially for shrubs and trees. The other part is actually the mycorrhiza itself. So what mycorrhiza is a fungus. It's a white fungus. You can actually visibly see it. You can smell it. You can feel it. It's supposed to be there. It looks like mold. That's basically because it is. But it's great for the root ball. So what the mycorrhiza does is it binds to the root system, and it helps the root system uptake nutrients into it, which then further builds the root system down into the soil and helps it just survive longer and helps it sustain better.
It also helps with less water is needed because it's absorbing more efficiently.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a little bit goes a long ways too. The key to this is to make sure that it's in contact with the roots itself. You don't want to be mixing this with water and then pouring it on top, or just sprinkling it in and then backfilling it where this isn't touching the roots. You want to make sure that this has direct contact with the roots.
We've had people ask if you can just sprinkle it throughout your bed, and I guess technically you could, but it would be wasting quite a bit of product. So really you're just focusing on that root ball.
Yep, absolutely. And it will reproduce itself too. As it begins its inoculation process, it'll start spreading the soil, and it'll actually help go and spread and help other plants as well. And then the other product we want to talk about as we're getting warmer is Triple Action. So Triple Action is an insecticide. With a lot of evergreen shrubs, mites are an issue. And so as we start getting warmer, we start to see these insects come out of dormancy, and they really do cause problems in Amarillo, especially whenever we get into the warmer months. So that's just something you want to be very proactive about before the plant damage actually starts to occur.
Yep.
All right, so here we're gonna go in. We got our holes dug. The ground is prepped. So the first product we're gonna be using is that mycorrhiza. Again, this is a live fungus. We're gonna be spreading it onto the root ball, putting it into the hole. That's gonna stimulate this root system and also sustain it long term, because the mycorrhiza will continue to reproduce and live in the soil for years to come. So it's really simple. It doesn't take a whole lot of this. It's a very fine granular. So what I'm gonna do is just sprinkle a little bit on the outside of the root ball, and I'm gonna roll it and just continue to do that. And it does not take a whole lot. Again, this is going to spread, and I'll put a little bit on the bottom of it as well. And then down in the hole itself, right where I'm gonna be setting that root ball, I'm gonna sprinkle in probably about another tablespoon. Then we're just gonna set that in there. And then we're gonna backfill it just with the soil that we dug out, and we've already pushed that inoculant onto the root ball itself. So after we water this in, that's gonna stimulate it to start growing and come alive. And if you actually check on this within a few weeks and you dig in to check the root production, you'll be able to see a lot of white fungus actually growing throughout the soil. That is this mycorrhiza. It's a beneficial fungus. It's super great product. I swear by it. You can also use it not just for these. Whenever you're planting your vegetables, whenever you're planting annual flowers, it's really good for everything. And as you introduce this into the soil, it stays forever, and it makes your soil alive, which is what we need. So now I'm just gonna backfill this in very gently and just move my hands around so that the soil isn't super clumpy. So we're gonna be using this Root and Grow Root Stimulator from Bonide. This is 3 tablespoons per gallon. So we have a 2-gallon watering can here. It comes with a little measuring cup, so this is 6 tablespoons full. So we're gonna do one full one of these in here, then just fill with water, and we're gonna put all 2 gallons on the plant we just planted. All right, that's it.
Thank you, Baden. We can't wait to come back in 2 weeks. We're gonna look at what else they plant here. We're gonna plant some annuals, so we're so excited to see this bed come to life.